It's 3:50 a.m. in Midlothian, Texas. A storm presses against a dark roof on a church. Wind, lightning, silence between the cracks. Inside, there's a figure in full tactical gear. Helmet, gloves, and a vest that says police. They move through the halls with the calm and chill rhythm of someone who's done this before. They open doors, shatter glass, check rooms. They're not stealing. They're waiting. 28 minutes later, Missy Bevers pulls up in her SUV. Headlights washing over the rain-slick parking stripes. She's there early, just like she always is. Ready to set up for her 5 a.m. Camp Gladiator class. And within minutes, she's gone. No one saw the killer enter. No one saw them leave. Only a few minutes of strange, grainy footage, almost like a ghost in armor. Welcome to Red Flags and Body Bags. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Dana.
And tonight, we're walking you through one of Texas's most haunting unsolved murders. It's April 18th, 2016. Missy Bevers is 45 and a mom of 3 girls. She's a fitness instructor who believes mornings are sacred, where discipline begins before sunrise. The night before, thunderstorms forced her to move her boot camp indoors into Creekside Church of Christ. She posted on Facebook, "No worries, y'all. We'll be inside, same time." That single update, meant to reassure, may have told her killer exactly when and where she'd be. Inside the church, fluorescent lights, white walls, corridors like a maze. At 3:50 a.m., the intruder breaks in through a side door. The alarm doesn't sound. They stroll the hallway, tap on a door, break another window. Police later call this methodical. I imagine the echo of boots over tile, not rushed, almost curious. Whoever this was, they weren't there to steal. They were there to wait. At 4:18 a.m., Missy arrives. Rain still falling. She hauls equipment in, her resistant bands, weights, and a speaker. At 4:35 a.m., her first students pull in and see something they'll never unsee. Missy lying on the floor, blunt force trauma. The intruder's gone. No sign of forced exit. No cameras outside of the building. Only those inside. It's a crime scene that feels like a trap door, open and closed in silence.
So, wait. The intruder got there before Missy got there?
Yeah, the intruder actually, it shows on the cameras that he arrived, or they arrived, around 3:50 in the morning. And it shows that Missy Bevers pulled up around 4:18 a.m.
Interesting. So, it does definitely seem like they knew what time she was going to be there, and they were looking for her.
Yeah, definitely. That's what they say, because they didn't steal anything, so it wasn't like a robbery. So it's like the police called it methodical.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, so before we dive into the investigation, I want you to know who she was. So Terry Leanne Bevers, everyone called her Missy, was born in Ellis County, Texas in 1970. She met Brandon Bevers in college. They later married in 1998. They had 3 daughters, a busy home in Red Oak, which is north of Midlothian. Friends say she was that friend who'd show up at 6 a.m. with coffee and a smile that would just brighten your day. She taught Camp Gladiator classes before sunrise, motivating people who'd rather be asleep. But investigators would later learn that behind her discipline and positivity, there were private struggles. Search warrants described ongoing financial and marital strain. And digital forensics found intimate communications outside of her marriage. It's the kind of sentence that launches 1,000 theories. But the police wrote those words carefully for a reason. They didn't mean a confirmed affair, just messages that needed to be checked. And they did check, every single one of them. The Midlothian Police Department is small, so within days they bring in the FBI, ATF, and Texas Rangers. More than 1,500 leads pour in into that first month. Detectives begin with the closest circle, Missy's husband, Brandon. He's questioned multiple times. His devices are analyzed, financial records subpoenaed. He's in Mississippi that week on a fishing trip. His travel receipts and phone GPS confirms it. He's cleared. Then they look at Randy Bevers, her father-in-law. He was in California at the time. When he returns, a local dry cleaner calls police because he drops off a shirt with blood on it. Forensic test it. It's animal blood from a dog fight. And he's cleared. But once rumors start, they never stop. Online sleuths compare gates, analyze frames of surveillance, freeze and magnify. Some even accuse innocent people. The Midlothian PD will later say the internet nearly derailed their case. The church footage is both the best and the cruelest evidence they have. It shows a person between 5'2" and 5'8", heavy tactical vest, helmet with chin strap, and a distinct walk. Some say a limp, others say a sway. The suspect moves with purpose, opens an office door, pauses, looks into a camera, and walks away. It's as if they want it to be seen, but not known. FBI behavioral analysts review the footage. They report calm, planned, deliberate. This guy chose to conceal identity and mislead gender. They tell police to look for someone familiar with law enforcement or construction gear, someone comfortable with tools and timing. Then another camera. This time it's a store that's a mile away. It captures a different mystery. A silver 2010-2012 Nissan Altima. And it's circling around a parking lot about 2 a.m. Headlights flickering on and off, then disappearing. The driver has never been found. Police still call it the vehicle of interest, not a suspect car. Detectives examined Missy's devices. From the iPhone and iPad, they recovered deleted text and LinkedIn messages. One contact, a man she'd been talking to since January 2016. The messages started professional, then they turned flirtatious. 3 days before the murder, she receives one. She tells a friend it's creepy. Police track him down, interview him, check his alibi, and his digital pings. He cooperates. Then he's cleared. The phone holds no threats, no plans, no warnings. It does, however, show something else, her routine. Her posts about class, locations, and times. Anyone watching her social media would know exactly where she would be. That's the digital curse of the modern world. We announce our whereabouts to friends, and sometimes to strangers with darker intentions.
So, Missy was regularly posting her location and the times that she would be there because of her fitness classes. So, it's possible, or is it possible, that someone in one of those groups or following those pages or socials could have been tracking where she was at?
I mean, absolutely. She was always updating, like, if anything was going to change, she was always updating, like, where she was going to be for those classes.
So for someone with the mindset of doing harm to her, that was pretty easy access to...
That was, like, perfect information for them. That was, like, exactly what they needed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, very scary. But the FBI profilers concluded this was not random. The killer knew Missy, knew her schedule, and planned the attack with precision. So, yeah, to answer your question, they knew her schedule. So whether that was somebody who was friends with her or someone who followed her in those Facebook groups or any of her socials where she posted, where she was always updating where she was going to be. So, yeah, definitely. But why so certain? Because nothing was stolen. Because the suspect arrived before her. Because their movements inside the church looked like they were waiting. The profile? Someone familiar with Missy's world. Likely between the ages of 30 and 50. They were comfortable with power tools or tactical gear. Emotionally invested enough to kill, but organized enough to hide it. That's the line that chills me the most. Emotionally invested enough to kill. Because that means it was personal. And personal means someone she knew. In the weeks after Missy's murder, Midlothian became a town of suspicion. Reporters crowded the parking lots. Online groups were formed overnight. Thousands of strangers poring over every frame of that haunting surveillance video. I remember watching that footage for the first time. The sway of the suspect's arms, the awkward turn of the foot. People said female, others swore it was a male. The truth is, none of us really know. Even FBI's gate analysts concluded the armor distorted everything. Meanwhile, Missy's family faced the grief that never sleeps. Her husband Brandon returned from Mississippi. Her daughters now without the woman who woke them with playlists and pancakes. In interviews, Brandon said she was the glue of our family. He thanked the public for prayers and begged anyone with any information to come forward. But information doesn't always mean truth. For every valid lead, there were 10 more rumors. Police had to separate noise from evidence, a task that grew nearly impossible in a world where every pixel became a theory. 2016 to 2017, a retired law enforcement officer is questioned after the internet detectives notice his gait. He's interviewed, searched, cleared, because his alibi was solid. In 2018, forensic specialists re-examined the tape. No new clarity. FBI confirms no DNA match in any national database. 2019, the Nissan Altima is still active. Investigators run hundreds of registration checks. Nothing. The car remains a ghost in a looped video. The case begins to cool, but never freezes. Now let's return to what we do know. And the timeline was around 3:50 a.m., the suspect enters the church. 4:18 a.m., Missy arrives. And around 4:35 a.m., the brutal scene was discovered. That's less than 45 minutes total. So the killer knew that window and how long it would be till her class showed up. And that suggests familiarity, not chance. The weapon, a blunt instrument consistent with a hammer-type tool that was never recovered. And forced entry, there was a door pried with a crowbar, multiple windows shattered to mimic a burglary. They didn't take anything, though. So what does that leave? Intent, emotion, control. The autopsy confirms multiple strikes, concentrated to the head and chest. Overkill. Personal. This wasn't random rage. It was a rage with a purpose. Investigators have never named a definite motive, but 3 possibilities remain the backbone of this case review. 1. Personal vendetta or jealousy. Missy's deleted messages, the flirtatious LinkedIn conversations, and could be a possible admirer turned angry. Investigators have never named a definite motive, but 3 possibilities remain the backbone of this case review. Number 2, rejection or obsession. A person who wanted her attention and didn't get it. Someone who tracked her schedule online. 3, misplaced revenge. A jealous third party, like a spouse or a friend of a friend. Someone who projected betrayal when there was none. Every theory fits the emotional violence of the scene, but collapses under proof. Every person is examined as either a solid alibi or no forensic tie. By 2021, 5 years had passed. Midlothian police asked the FBI to re-examine everything. The Bureau's Behavioral Analysis Unit confirmed the original profile. They brought in Dr. Michael Nierenberg, a forensic podiatrist. He slowed the footage frame by frame. His verdict? The walk tells us nothing definitive, because the armor changes the movement. But he noticed something else. The suspect keeps checking doors that lead nowhere. Almost as if they'd memorized the layout from blueprints or they've been in that church before. The detail still haunts me because it means this person was comfortable inside of that church. The Beaver family never stopped cooperating with investigators. They've also endured 8 years of scrutiny from people who think solving a murder is as easy as zoom and enhance. Brandon Beavers has publicly forgiven whoever has killed his wife, as he said in an interview. Missy's 3 daughters are grown now. They still run fundraisers for the Midlothian Police Department and post tributes every April 18th. It's easy to forget that true crime is never just mystery. It's someone's mother, wife, and sister. As of today, the case is still open. The reward for information stands at $150,000. The Nissan Altima driver remains unidentified. No DNA match, no murder weapon. But detectives say they review the tips weekly. Every few months, new leads arrives. A claim, a name, a rumor, each tested, and each so far a dead end. Sometimes I rewatch that surveillance video. The shadow and armor wandering the hallway. It's a little unnerving because the person looks so ordinary. Not a monster, just a human wrapped in pretend authority. I think about how Missy walked into that building, believing she was safe. A church, a storm outside, her workout family on the way. And someone used that routine, that trust, against her. Every year, April 18th, Camp Gladiator holds a sunrise workout in her honor. They call it Be Strong for Missy. People who never met her show up. Maybe that's what stays behind after violence, the echo of a person's purpose. Missy wanted people to believe they could push past their limits. She did that until her last morning. So if you're listening to this at dawn, maybe on a run or commute, look at the light coming through the clouds and remember, someone out there still owes her the truth. So if you have any information about the murder of Missy Bevers, contact Midlothian Police Department or North Texas Crime Stoppers. You can remain anonymous. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Red Flags and Body Bags. Until next time, stay suspicious and remember, red flags never lie.